let's get it. let's get it.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the PUBG Mobile South Asia Pro Scrims 2021, brought to you by R3G Gaming. And well, we already did see the action in golf in day number 1. Today we are heading on into day number 2, and well, it has been a Pakistani team's domination so far. And joining me along is, of course, Necro over here. And well, Necro, you did cast the games yesterday. We did see the Pakistani teams dominating, but do you think today the Nepali teams and the Bangladeshi teams, can they make a comeback in?
Well, I mean, surely we do have a lot of expectations when we are looking at Blood Legions over there from Bangladesh region. And then, of course, Carnage comes in the Nepal region as well. But for now, the way we saw F4 and STALWARTxFLEX just completely dominate the show and just overall take those top 2 positions was just so fascinating. With 43 points, it was F4 on the top. And then on second, it was with 37 points, it was STALWARTxFLEX just completely coming back on that last game. STALWARTxFLEX just completely got us shook.
I mean, of course, the way they have been playing STALWARTxFLEX, getting those massive kill numbers, of course, in terms of positioning, they have been in the second spot and they can even do better. So what they are really eyeing out is for the top spot. But before that, let's take a look at that money that we have online over here, the prize pool, ladies and gentlemen, as we are talking about it. So the season prize pool over here is $2,000, out of which it is, of course, going to be divided. The majority is going to be taken by the one who wins the game and gets the first position. It's, of course, $1,000.
Yep, indeed, and then so on. It's going to be descending down to second place, which is going to be getting 500, and then third is going to be getting 300, and then fourth is going to be getting 200, of course. And now on the fourth position is, of course, one of the teams that we know right now is a DRS, and we all do know what this team is capable of. They do have that. Construction plan to build their legacy up. But for now, we did see DRS not doing that well. But certainly, one props that I really want to give these lads is that they don't back off from a fight, and the way these guys challenge the fight is just so constructive. Like, they actually have 2 other players going on the flank lines, and then 2 other players from the front line. This is where they actually completely sandwich a team, and then that's where the teams are most of the times they do get confused on which one to focus and which one to not. And this is when the double pin pressure comes in from DRS, and they just win the fight.
Yeah, of course. I mean, DRS is certainly a team that does carry on with that experience, and they would certainly be looking to bolster up their points, on the table. But before that, let's take a look at the points structure that we have for you, which is pretty much standard. We've been seeing this for quite some time over here. The first position, of course, receiving 15 points, and for every single kill, you get that 1 point. So we've seen all these teams, if you're a team like Blood Legion, who is really kill hungry, so this meta is is certainly going to suit you. But at the
Yeah.
same time, we've also, defined this meta as being the comeback meta. This is a meta in which you can really make a comeback quickly if you get a very good, high fragging game. So yeah, pretty much, I'm still, having a blank slate around the teams because we just have seen one day. This is going to go on,
Yeah.
and we'll have to see, by the end, which is the team that comes out on the top. But this is still the trailer, because the real action is going to begin very, very soon.
Yep, unquestionably that's going to be happening. But I also want to focus on one of the teams that we really want to take a look at. That was Blood Legions for sure.
Yeah.
Now, yesterday wasn't really their day. In the last game, they just completely got eliminated on the first place. And that certainly is going to be affecting their standings a little bit on the day one. But certainly we all do know it's just the day one. They still have a little bit of chances going up again in the future stage as well. But certainly we do not expect that kind of performance when it comes to Blood Legions showing that aggression early on. And certainly
Yeah.
somewhere down the line, they did get capitalized, and surely they were, things don't work out in your favor all the time.
Yeah, of course, things really do not. But then again, you would want Blood Legion to kind of experiment themselves to try and open up their wings. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the squad roster and have an insight as to which are the teams participating for all the new viewers out there. So you've got Group A, which comprises of PN Crew, Venom Legends, the big guns over here already. We do see R3G Esports coming in from the Pakistan region. Then we've got T2K. So big names, we've done with the PMCOs. We are heading on to the PMPLs, and now the competition is going to get even more intense.
Yep, it is going to be getting more intense. And for now, I really want to focus on one more team yesterday. It was Futurestation, and he was Stalwart. Now, taking my focus on the Stalwart for a second, the way they actually did a massive comeback in the last game, it was just so phenomenal. Like, in the first game, Stalwart wasn't really able to show up much. Okay, they didn't get much of the points in the first game. But in the second game, what a massive comeback these lads have built up. And this is exactly what I'm saying. You should never lose hopes. And this is what Stalwart has built in front of us overall. Just a massive dominating performance coming in. And they actually just closed the gap so much in that performance. They managed to secure 19 kills, Fixes. And this is what I am saying. A massive, massive, massive domination coming in from these lads. Of course, Crypto, one of the men to build up the legacy as well. And then Johnny to follow him up with the second fragger, getting 6 kills as well.
I've seen them since quite some time, the days back in when they were playing from Team Oxy around, and massive, massive improvement in their performances has been witnessed by not just us, but by everybody throughout the world. So, yes, we do have bigger hopes from this particular roster. And, going in, I really expect that today is where they are going to even further solidify the domination in terms of kills and those frags that they are getting for themselves.
Yep, and certainly one thing as well, F4 is just so consistent overall. We did see them play 2 games, and in the first game, of course, they got chicken dinner. In the second game, the overall standings from them were just so good, and that's why they are on the top 1 position. But I don't know if you've heard about this, Fixes. Carnage actually signed Killer YT from Comps. Now, this is a massive change over here, and this is why I really feel like the synergy over here is currently not building up between them, and certainly somewhere down the line, Carnage is actually struggling. And no, actually it was PN Crew that signed who Killer YT, my bad. PN Crew was the one that actually signed Killer YT on their part, and PN Crew is certainly down the line. They're not really, able to show up. The synergy is actually getting affected a little bit, but I'm pretty sure scrims are for them to actually test the waters, overall know what strategy is working for your team and what strategy is not, and this is why scrims are being held.
Exactly, that's the whole motive of the scrims too. This is where you can try out different strats. This is where you can try out new things. If you fail, you learn from over here, because that is not the kind of a luxury that you can have during the Pro League when the real event really starts up, because that is when teams kind of reveal their strats that they've been hiding, because what performance we are expecting from these teams over here in the scrims is how good they are in terms of taking kills, how well they position themselves during fights. Because if you talk about the strategy and everything, I think they will try to reveal that once the main event starts. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, 3 maps of Miramar, and we are on with the first game over here with the flight path trajectory heading from Trailer Park all the way to West Junkyard.
Yep, and this is what I'm talking about exactly. But for now, as I was saying, PN Crew is actually really struggling with those, a little bit of roster changes coming in from those. But I mean, we cannot even forget that one Miramar game when in those group stages back in PMCO, the way Killer YT completely dominated the lobby, managed to secure 13 kills. Now that's one of the iconic moments, and I'm pretty sure that is why Killer YT is in PN Crew right now. And certainly, I really feel like PN Crew does have to work on their little bit team coordination over here, because we all do know even one of the players, if he has been changed in the roster, a lot of new things, a new play style he will have to get used to as well. So yeah, of course that's on the PN Crew head for now. But another team, as I was saying, Blood Legions, aren't really able to show up fixes.
I mean, it is quite evident. It's quite understandable considering this is their first PMPL. So the pressure is definitely going to be that one factor. But
Yeah.
apart from that, I really want to see how Deadeyes perform, to be honest, because they've gotten a hungry box in their team right now, and we
Yeah.
know how lethal and how deadly that one player is. Now, coming back to the discussion we were having about PN Crew, so they've taken in Killer YT, like you've been mentioning, and we know how prolific this lad is on the map of Miramar. So
Yeah.
now this is his chance to shine. This is his chance to perform. But here
Yeah.
you have a fight already breaking down, where the players of F4 have already closed in onto its the boys from GR.
Yep, unfortunate. It seems like F4 only down to 3 men this time. Maybe some issues happening. We don't really know. But it seems like God's Reborn this time have had enough, because yesterday wasn't really their day. They weren't doing this great yesterday as well. But today, let's see if they are going to be able to do something, because today is going to be more kind of decider day. If you're going to be doing good, then your confidence is, of course, going to be building up slowly and slowly. But seems like God's Reborn are aggressing in, and they are just not scared of anyone. And Destroyer seems like he's just going to be backing off. A beautiful jump coming from this man to close distance off. It seems like God's Reborn are not going to be stopping anytime soon. Kata is going to be backing off for a while, as he does know that the knockdown has been made, and yes, it has been finished as well.
I mean, we've seen the lads from God's Reborn, right, during the PMCO, how
Yeah.
explosive this squad was. And now,
Yeah.
if you take a look at the fight in hand over here, Voltrox did a pretty decent job in trying to provide
Hmm.
the cover fire, but Destroyer, he was all by his lonesome. And look at Kalin Vaya, the kind of high ground advantage that he has, the kind of an information that he can provide to his team is so instrumental in,
Hmm.
this push that God's Reborn did execute around San Martin. So, of course, San Martin being a spot that is highly contested by so many big teams. So
Yeah.
it's not really surprising to see the fight breaking early off. And now, teams can afford to do that because they have nothing
Yeah.
to lose. Now,
Yeah.
Khan, he was on the back lines. We did get to see a vision of him right now. A lot of things could have been done, but at the same time, when three players are pushing right on your face, it sort of gets difficult, to hold on to your horses at that particular time.
Yep, and we all do know we do get, a little bit tingly feeling when we are getting in the fight, and you always do want to, be the one to actually get those kills. But certainly these are one of these pros teams, and they do have control over their feelings as well, so they are certainly not going to be making those rookie mistakes that we usually normal people fall out for. It seems like DRS Nima this time going to be taking down Adil, and yep, the confirmation kill is there as well. Adil certainly not having the time of his life and unquestionably going down. But maybe his teammates will be able to capitalize on that, of course. MGS are going to be a little bit disappointed by giving up that frag easily to Nima there. But Nima seems like he is also in a massive lot of trouble, as he's going to be smoking his position out just to get the rotation offhand, making sure he's not going to get capitalized while he's rotating. But seems like he is not going to be backing off. He's just going to be staying behind that rank, being as safe as he can.
I mean, he's a man on a mission right now. He does not really want
Yeah.
to back off, but heavy seems ready for the trouble. Somehow does manage to get one knock over there, but you can see from the backlines, we've also got Kowa trying in to provide that cover fire. We've got Wolverine also chiming in. This is where Khan needs to, try and push in, because Yashiro,
Oh.
he's trying to get those res on, but Khan are really prioritizing reviving Voltrox, and there you go. Kowa has already been is already back online. Sketch already taking a lot of damage there after being knocked out. Wolverine, however, goes down. It all comes down to Khan. And he's taking a long shot on, but Yashiro gets that knock. He needs to heal himself back. Can he do? It's a 1v2 situation. Khan just the last solo player surviving. Can F4 survive this fight?
Yes, certainly Karn is down to such low HP as well. He's going to be backing off, meting himself up as the res from the Gods Reborn might be coming through because we do see Wolverine there back in the line, giving a little bit of info to Khan, but no, that's going to be the denial coming in from Koa, completely ending things for Khan there, and that's going to be a massive disappointment coming in for F4 fans there because F4 definitely, as I was saying, one of the more consistent team on day one, and this time F4 going down early this time, it's such a massive disappointment.
To be honest, right now I'm kind of not surprised because that was ought to happen. The first day you just come in, you wreck down every single squad that you see in front of yourself. I mean, you make yourself soft targets to the other teams, and a lot of teams over here are trying to make a statement. Now, God's Reborn come in, and after this fight, after wiping them down 4v4, fair and square, now they've made their mark. They are here to win, and that is exactly what they did. A very well-coordinated push, and F4, had they had some better utilities, maybe they could have tried to fend off the attack, but it was just those early phases in which they were fighting in. So did not really have a lot of grenades or maybe some smokes to play around. So as a result of which they did go down.
Yep, and one point I'd like to add is definitely going to be that confidence boost. Now, we all do know if you're going to be taking down that top one man from that top leaderboard, your confidence must be boosting on the cloud nine because we all do know what it feels to actually take down the best of the best, at least for now, because they are on the top of leaderboards and just the overall performance they showed was just so phenomenal. But God's Reborn, certainly one of the teams that wasn't really able to show up in the day one, but seems like this time they might have a statement to write down on some bond paper this time, because for now we did see them completely just obliterating the F4 squad in front of them. But now taking a look at Carnage, yeah, another team certainly is kind of struggling down the line. We did see Jiggle in the previous day going down early off all the time. Like, I mean, Jiggle was the one who actually went down from Blood Legions, I think. So yeah, Gyro was the man who actually took down Jiggle yesterday. And
Yeah.
I really feel like there's a little bit of rivalry building up in these two teams.
I mean, this is where we have to start anticipating things going personal because this is during the scrims. Now, once we get into the main event, I mean, if things have spiced up so much, we can expect the real main event, that is the Pro League, to be going out of our minds. It'll just blow us
Yeah.
off. But yeah, getting back to the topic over here, that is Team F4 Esports. Well, they did have quite a really good start yesterday, but not the kind of a start that they would have anticipated for themselves today. Somewhat they were not really prepared to take that fight against God's Reborn. They were kind of still in that looting phase, and that's where God's Reborn realized, you cannot give them enough room and space to do whatever on earth that they want to. That is the kind of, intimidation factor that F4 has established for themselves, and that has certainly turned out well for them. But hey, they've got the AWM being deployed, and it's online already, and we do see Jane and Frankie. I've seen these lads during the Pro League, and I must say this squad is full of surprises.
And take a look at over here. It's going to be Killer YT this time, having his eyes completely digged onto 7C. Does realize that they are right in front of him, so he's just not going to be, completely exposing his body. The rotation has been caught by him as well, but certainly doesn't really want to give his position away. And yeah, as you were saying, one thing also I would like to point out that MGS this time are taking one of the most late rotations inside the circle as well. They are still in the blue zone, and they're still on their way to actually make inside the zone as well. But now, how MGS are going to be capitalizing or making their way through, because we all do know that there are so many teams just camping on the edges, and the reason why they do that is because they know that we might be getting some free kills while we see some teams rotating inside, and this is the exact strategy that a lot of teams use. And certainly if you're going to be having that if you're going to be having that high ground advantage in those edge camping situations, then you might be racking up a lot of kills.
You certainly would, but here you go. The Lions of Bangladesh, as they are very well known, and we do see Nuclear being taken down over there. Again, the boys of God's Reborn. Well, they are men on mission, and they want to wipe away every single squad they see right in front of their faces. I mean, they did lose out on one of their players, but that certainly did not deter them from taking some extra fights. But against a player like Dominic, you need to really watch out, because he's going to punish you for even a slight mistake that you commit.
And yup, as we were saying, they are certainly hungry, because yesterday wasn't really their day, but Dominic is going to be punishing them this time. And Yashiro going down, a big man going down. And Yashiro is certainly one of the players that they do not really want to lose in situations like this. But Dominic is also one of the players that Blood Legion has to offer, and we all do know what a great flanker this man is. All he needs to do is find a real great position for himself, and he can just completely mow down any of the squads that are in front of him. And seems like, yes, he is exactly going to be doing that, repositioning himself and closing out the distance a little bit. But seems like over here they are going to be retreating.
They certainly are wanting to take there, but they being taken down. We do see Ozark put down a few bullets onto its Koma, and he would certainly want to make a move and would try to get that race back onto its Dominic. No, sir, that's not happening. He is just backing off, wants to survive. He's the final member, and Blood Legion certainly are taking so much in those games. And even considering the first 3 games they played yesterday, they were really not that high in terms of either positioning or their kills, which they are quite well known for. So now got Reborn. Look at them. It's just the start of the game. They've already racked in 7 kills. So almost wiping out 2 squads over there.
Yep, they did. But now, I mean, as you were saying, God's Reborn certainly they are dominating the entire feud right now. I'm adding the word right now because we never know what can happen in the future, Fixes, because maybe they can get caught off guard by the zone, or maybe they just completely over-aggress the team and they just get punished by that team as well. Now, anything can happen. This is the game of PUBG. This is a game of Battle Royale, and certainly the RNG factor builds in as the game moves on as well. But for now, we take a look at Ozark this time, and it seems like he is just going to be playing a little slave. Yeah, we do know he's last man standing as well. But, I mean, Blood Legion, somewhere down the line, they do know that they have kind of messed up and they made a massive mistakes, and this is why they are in the spot they are right now.
I mean, they've gone through quite some roster change over there.
Yeah.
We're not seeing those old players, of course, Cairo and Dominic being predominant over there, and they've always, been those 2 players that can take the fight right on your face. But there you have Team Carnage, the winners of the PMC or Nepal, and this is a team that we certainly have to keep our eyes on, because if Blood Legion is all about raw, pure aggression right on your face, this is a team that is really tactical in their approach, and we have seen that during the PMCOs, where all these Nepali teams tried to take those fights towards the end circles, and they really prioritized positioning. So what they're really focusing on is winning, getting those extra position points, because they certainly know that they will definitely secure all those important kills if they have a good spot towards the end zones.
And yep, seems like Venom Legends are in massive water trouble as they've already lost 2 of their men to Carnage, and we all do know Carnage will be spreading Carnage if they just let the free air of fresh air just let Carnage breathe, because they just have so much room to actually work around. They can move anywhere they want. They can reposition anywhere they want. Now, just take a look at Snipe YT as well, completely on the right lines, and he's separated from his team. And this is exactly what I'm saying. If you're gonna be, surrounding the enemy team from all the angles, then they might be in a massive water trouble, because you just don't have any of room to work around or just reposition yourself. You will have to be in the same positions that you are. And now, as we are taking a look, Anik is just going to be closing distance while we take a look at Prabeen making a heroic entry. Does realize that Nightwing is inside the warehouse, so he's just going to be walking right outside it.
I mean, this is going to be a really tricky fight. I mean, Frypan, I think his position has not been compromised yet. Otherwise, the players of Carnage would have really made a push onto him. And Nick, he might just be walking into his own grave. He is unaware. He is oblivious about Frypan's positioning. But at the same time, Nightwing, he's in a very precarious position. The moment Snipe and Prabeen just get in, he's the one who's going to get that first peek on. And Nick really making that push, being really, outside of his mind over there. And he's just trying to escape. He needs to get that res back on. Sniper is, of course, going to follow him up. But there you have Jiggle in the far off fray, finding him and knocking him down.
Making Frypan just walk into the trap, and Anik, a beautiful execution coming in from this man.
Just looked him up.
We literally saw him run away from the situation, and he was not stopping the fight. He was just running away. Then he jumped from the balcony, and then he knew that, yeah, Frypan will be following me in the balcony as well. And then he just gave the call out to Jiggle. Okay, Jiggle, are you ready from the back lines to take this man down? And Jiggle was like, yes, sir, and he just completely mowed him down in the same position as well. But for now, it seems like Nightwing is going to be the last man standing for Venom Legends this time, and Nightwing is scared for his life. And Snipe YT somewhere down the line does know is going to be throwing that nade in, and yes, doing so much damage. 70% of damage dished out on Nightwing as well. Another nade coming in and it's doing so much damage as well. Nightwing barely surviving, going to be healing himself up, but now Carnage does know that there is a man alive, and yup, the nades are not able to finish him off, and Nightwing barely surviving again. This is such an uncomfortable situation. This is an awkward situation. Snipe YT pushing in. He has had enough. He's certainly not going to be having enough anytime more, and yup, that's going to be a complete wipeout coming in for Nightwing as well. Venom Legends getting eliminated this time early off as well.
I mean, this is big. You know, all these teams that have been invited directly into the Pro League. And, the boys qualifying from PMCO are certainly giving them a taste of what they are going to witness during the PMPL. Now things are starting to get heated up. Now, a team like Carnage just comes in. And, you know, you did see how confident they were during throughout the fight, right? The positioning of their players, they certainly focus on that. I've been talking about this time and again. You know, it all comes down to positioning, because every single player, they can be really better in terms of how they aim after you have a decent amount of practice in your training grounds and after you know, really grind yourself up. But positioning during those fights, that's so very difficult to master. And once you start doing that, once you start trying those things, you certainly are going to get a lot of success. But here you can see the players of Futurestations in a bit of a pickle, as they have been surrounded by a lot of teams around.
Yep, talking about positioning, it seems like MGS is going to get capitalized by the enemy team over there. And yeah, we do know MGS are getting picked out by one. But yeah, for now, talking about positioning, LoG1 definitely one of the teams that we always need to keep an eye on, because they just have that surprise element in them. And wherever they go, the circle just follows them. But for now, I'm gonna hold on to my words, because Futurestation seems like they're in a massive water trouble, as they are getting completely compromised by their enemy team over here, and certainly their breathing space is getting decreased as time passes by as well.
Yeah, of course, you know, now the boys from R3G, they've got the boys of Futurestation in their hold right now. You know, a few beautiful Grens might just take down Zulkar, or maybe Respect. As you can see, Joker already, you know, trying to close in, but it's Respect that's definitely gonna have that advantage of being having that third perspective over there. Does have the Marauder to provide enough cover fire, does have the Dave to play around. You can see Luffy from the backlines, he is trying to provide in that support. But considering the fact that Team Carnage has also closed in, I mean, nobody is safe over here. There you go, Joker really opening it onto his Respect, getting that beautiful knock, but that's not done. He's even hungry for more kills.
Joker surely playing his tricks and finding the opening as well, but for now, it seems like Respect is going to be having a hard time, barely surviving behind that ridge, but he's trying his best to give the information to his team, which is going to be Futurestation. But for now, Futurestation do seem in a massive water trouble as well. If they decide to back off, P and crew is right in their back as well. They might get punished, but for now, Futurestation getting compromised, and yes, this is a massive squad wipe coming from PES this time, completely taking down Futurestation. One of the big names getting eliminated as well.
I mean, R3G, well, they have been setting the standards over here, and the Pakistani domination sort of continues, as we have seen yesterday being completely their day, and the way things have been starting off, they are showing that confidence that, yes, they are here to put up a fight. But let's take a look at the circle, the shift, completely favoring the boys from PNQ. All they have to do is just chill over there, wait for all these teams to come in from the northern side. We do see some teams, however, on the southeastern side. We do have the boys from LoG1. You know, the zone had been favoring them entirely during the PMCO, but once you enter into the big leagues, you know, things change. You need to start taking all those kills, and we did see, you know, Shabir trying to get a few knocks here and there during the PMCOs, but you know, now this is where it is going to matter. This is going to show how well prepared you are. But there you can see the players from Skylight Gaming, one by one, falling down. Leon already biting the dust.
And talking about risky plays, God's Reborn is certainly going to be doing the same thing as well, but they are still managing to turn the situations out in their favor, because Leon has bite the dust, as you pointed it out, and seems like Demon is going to be the last man trying to shower down bullets on this little hut, but seems like the revive is going to be coming through on Dukoa. But how long are God's Reborn going to be holding on to that little shack? As we take a look at Chari, he's not scared of anyone. He is just going to be closing the distance with a little bit of with the wind, and he's going to be throwing down those nades as well. And just take a look, they are forced out of the position. Chari going down to the process, and Koa is going to be compromised from the back lines. This is what I'm saying, a beautiful execution coming from SG.
I mean, I do not expect anything less. You know, these lads do have that global championship experience over here with them. So, you know, you are gonna expect bigger things from Skylight Gaming, of course, previously known as Abrupt Slayers, and you know how they slay their opponents. They are not scared of anything at all. Now, you know, representing the banner of Skylight Gaming, but hold on over here because we have a fight already breaking down between Team LoG1. As we can see, the players of T2K, they are making that push onto its the players of Carnage, and Snipe certainly get a revive, but he's gonna go down pretty soon if he does not do something about it. But a lot of things have been done. Nate was the last solo survivor trying to fight it out, but that was just not about enough because we also have the boys from A1 Esports who are looking to, you know, have a party over here, and they have, of course, taken down Jade in the process.
Surely the third party is coming in from Avon as well. We did see how good these lads are yesterday because they managed to completely wipe out the existence of Carnage in the Wrangle map, and seems like they're going to be playing the same card this time as well on the T2K, and T2K are in a massive water trouble as they're trying to rest their teammates as well. But seems like A1 are going to be backing off somewhere down the line. But no, it's going to be ShyCod completely eliminating the existence out of T2K, and that's going to be T2K outside the game. But there are so many teams in the front line as well, as A1 Esports are trying their best to close the distance out in the teams that are in front of them. They have spotted SG on the far lines, but are they going to be able to capitalize on them? That's going to be a massive question, as we are going to be asking to ourselves. And Insane and Log1, these are some kind of like most uncomfortable fights as we talk about, because we all do know there's no grass on Miramar. So even if you are going to be snaking down on the ground, then you are going to get spotted because there's just no grass for cover.
Absolutely, you know, considering how the fights have changed, you know, how the terrains have changed, because we do see that circle taking a shift even down below and favoring the boys from R3G, so we can really anticipate a chicken dinner coming out from this team. But there you have Daughter coming in, and this is a player that I didn't see during the last PMCO and being taken down, or being taken by 7C. I mean, he's got all in for himself, but look at 6ix9ine over here trying to press onto its Murtaza, but has been punished as Magnus wipe out their existence over there.
But for now, it's going to be a fight erupting between FS, and seems like PN Crew are going to be capitalizing onto them, as Kopshi has went down early off this time. And PN Crew, somewhere down the line, we do know that they have a real good position inside the late game situation as well. So if they manage to hold it on, they might have themselves a deal. But as I am speaking, Ayush is going down in the process now. Killer YZ, certainly the man closest. He might get the res onto Ayush as well, but Kopshi is trying his best to slowly completely close down the distance on Badrev. And is Badrev going to be able to revive his teammate? That's going to be a massive question that we all have erupting in our minds as well, because Futurestation and Log1 are next to each other, and then PES is going to be sandwiching Log1 in the between. Now this is one of the most uncomfortable situations, as they are trying their best to use the smoke grenades, use the utilities out for a maximum amount of cover.
Yeah, you certainly have to, and considering how the zone has really panned out, I mean, it's kind of favoring the boys from R3G over here. But Log1, we know how good they are with the survival instincts, as we can see the players over here, BES Joker getting that knock, but in turn being traded off by another team, that's Skylight Gaming over there. Log1's Fuad, well, his position sort of has been compromised, as Betrave is definitely kicking up those Gwents down on towards him and taking those ship damage, you know, slowly but surely. If the barrage continues, he's gonna go down. But before that, Kapshi has already been taken down by Kraken.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. The opening has been found already, and Kraken also going down, completely getting traded off. But another one goes down for Futurestation as well. But now in last man standing, it's going to be Badrev making his way, closing the distance out, and certainly he's out in the open, and Blank is going to be capitalizing onto him. That's going to be the entire existence wiped off Futurestation as well.
Yeah, I mean, that is gonna happen, and Futurestation did not see that coming, really, as we have just 3 teams, 10 players surviving. We've got PN Crew in the far off raid. They've got one of their players knocked out. They are certainly trying to get that revive onto its Ayush, and Killer is the one who is, in fact, going in to give that rest. But how long are they gonna survive? They are yet 10 meters away from getting inside the zone, and this is exactly what they needed, a knock onto its Fuad. This is the opening that will certainly give them that route to, you know, try to go in. But there you go, Killer YT confirming that kill onto its Fuad. Log1, they need to defend, but everyone certainly needs to get get inside the zone, and that includes the players of R3G who unlocked that beautiful grenade, and there you go, insane, going bonkers over there. Blank getting that beautiful, getting himself knocked out over here, as Kraken, in fact, is the last player surviving. How on earth is LoG1 gonna enter inside the zone under these circumstances?
Take a look at PN Crew having one of the most dominant position inside the circle as well. PES trying their best to close out the distance, using their utilities as well, trying to flush out any of those knocks. They are trying their best to find an opening on the PN Crew, but certainly PN Crew is not one of the teams that are going to be giving their openings that easily, because they do know yesterday wasn't really their day, so they are trying their best to actually hold onto their position as well, but seems like PES are going to be denying that as well, as the barrage of nades is coming through. Killer getting tagged up in the, a little bit in the process, but for now it seems like PES are still looking so comfortable in the situation, as they have 4 players online. And now, somewhere down the line, we all do know that PN Crew do have a little bit of good position inside the circle, but they are still getting completely compromised from their back lines, as it's going to be LoG1, and then from the front line, it's going to be PES, and PES completely wiping out. It's going to be the eliminated squad, which is going to be PN Crew this time, but seems like PES are had enough, and they're going to be completely closing down the distance on the LoG1 as well. They're getting pushed on. Black goes down to the process. Now Kraken, the last man standing, Kraken going down to the process as well, and that's going to be the complete existence wiped out, and that's going to be another chicken dinner in the favor of PES.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Joker hailing in with 8 kills over here. That's massive. The way Team R3G really played this one out, I mean, I'm short of words of how beautifully, they positioned themselves in the fight. Now, this had been my cause, of concern regarding the Pakistani teams.
Yeah.
We have seen those raw aggression from their side in the past, but this is where I am seeing that maturity also coming in. Now they're trying to position themselves really well in the fight. It was quite clear, how they really took that entire fight in those last circle, kind of splitting their players out, taking that map control, picking up their fights, not really, just going head on, but they did go take down one squad over there. They did wipe out PNQ. Now they realize we've just got that one other squad that we have got to deal with. Just 2 more players remaining. We've got all our players alive. Let's just do it.
Yup, it did, and PES actually did manage to secure all their players alive in the late game situation. And we all do know, if you're going to be having all 4 of your players alive, and certainly in those late game situations, then it's basically like you already have the 50% of the game in your hand. As long
Right.
as any of the other teams that don't have all their players alive as well, then that might be equal competition. But still, there might be some other more teams in the nearby vicinity that you might have to be cautious about. But
Yeah.
certainly PES this time, just the overall execution on the PN Crew was just so beautiful to witness.
I mean, it certainly was, to be honest. The
Yeah.
way they just pushed in, they were really patient with the timings, right? They let the fight
Yeah.
simmer. They knew, this is the moment where we can actually strike, and
Yeah.
they let the fight really erupt between the boys from PN and LoG1 over there. The moment they saw those knocks happening, so this is where they really realized that, okay, so now they're not focusing on towards us. This is the time when we need to make our move in, and that is when they did that. And huge props to these lads. But overall, I must say, again, the Pakistani domination sort of continues after the first day we did witness. But the Nepali teams and the Bangladeshi teams are not really far behind. They are catching up in terms of kills. I really loved how God's Reborn just came in the first
Yeah.
few minutes of the game. They were, they almost wiped down 2 squads. They did take down Team F4 so early in the game. So a lot of things were there, a lot of things are panning out for you. However, there were certain disappointments over here. You expected bigger things coming in from DRS over there. So by maybe the second or third game, I'm certainly sure that they might just make a comeback.
Yep, the comeback will be made. But now certainly the hopes cannot be given up on any of these teams. We all do know these are one of the big names, and we certainly, most of the players might not be even playing to their full potential, because we
Right.
are seeing some max roster changes coming out. Certainly Blood Legion is not, like Rayan is not playing currently, and even Leo is not playing currently. So these are completely 2 new players coming inside Blood Legion roster as well. But
Yeah.
yesterday Leo was playing, so we did see Blood Legion, dominate a little bit. But certainly this time, today, Leo is not playing, so we are not seeing that maximum amount of gameplay coming in from him as well. But we surely have to wait for those final moments of when these guys are actually going to be utilizing those maximum strategy. But
Yeah,
talking about strategy, now I'm going to come to LoG1 this time, and seems
right.
like they are going to be using the same strategy that they were using in the PMCO as well, even group stages and overall in the regional finals as well. Now, LoG1 is certainly one of the teams that doesn't like to challenge a fight till it's those top three situations, and when it's those situations, that is when certainly they start challenging the fights. It's more kind of like they don't want to challenge, but you don't have any other choice. The zone's shrinking down and you will have to fight, so it's more kind of like LoG1 is like, okay, we have to fight. We don't have any other choice.
I mean, if things come down to that, they do not really shy away from fights. But yes, log one, as long as, it does not really need the fixing over here, you do not need to do that if it does not have to be mended. But ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the match rankings and see where does this, put things over here. How have teams fared off? Of course, R3G Esports, pure domination coming out from these lads. 13 kills, 15 position points, of course, is going to get them that 28 points over here. But look at PN Crew and log1, either team, no one really shying away. All these regions, they need to establish that kind of a domination over there. But look at God's Reborn. I mean, they did get pretty eliminated pretty early, but look at the kills, 8 kills, kind of securing them that 6th spot.
Yep, those 8 kills certainly did secure them that 8th spot as well. But for now, I mean, focusing on the God's Reborn, we did see these lads, completely dominate the position inside, and I mean, yeah, God's Reborn. This is exactly what I was saying. This is the game of battle royale. Anything can happen. Sometimes things might not favor in your favor as well. And it seems like this is where God's Reborn did get punished, because if you're just gonna be pushing all the squads without thinking headless like a headless chicken, then you might get compromised, in those later situations as well. And it seems like this is exactly what happened, because we did see the early aggression coming in from God's Reborn, and certainly respect to them for doing that.
I mean, honestly, right now, I think this is certainly the kind of an approach that you would expect from the teams, because they're not really shying away from any kind of
Yeah.
a fight that they have in front of them. But we are completely going to witness a lot of, different things once the real leagues, is online, because that is when you have so much pressure building up onto it you. I mean, yeah, of course, the scrims are there. You've got those money online. You're playing for that. That's fine. But once in the real event, when you got things in hundreds and thousands of dollars, so that when those things are online, you tend to be bit safe in your approach. You really are very picky with your fights. But this kind of a meta, this kind of an all these lads pushing in onto each other kind of a meta, is certainly favoring the Pakistani teams, because that has been their forte, right from the very start. I've seen these lads right in from the beginning, of course, and I know how aggressive this region is, and this kind of a gameplay, it's certainly suiting how they want to play, how they like to play. But then again, you've got the players from the regions of Nepal who kind of have a more tactical approach towards things. We did see
Yeah.
that fight in which we had Carnage going against Venom Legends. However, just 2 players were there, but they were so meticulous in their approach over there. They took their own sweet time. They did, flush out the players first. They did lob in those grenades. But, if in the Pakistan region, had the Pakistani teams been there, they would have just mowed them down. Take your guns, just go right on the face and blow them up.
Yep, and exactly. And also one more massive casualty that I really want to talk about, F4. I certainly
Yeah.
did not expect them to just get eliminated off in the first place, because I mean, the overall domination that they showed yesterday, I really had high hopes for them. I'm not gonna lie, I actually did have high hopes for them. I thought that today we might be witnessing much more gameplay, but I mean, they're gonna be getting one more, chance to show their
Yeah.
skills off. So we certainly cannot be, just compromising on that one certain game. So F4 might actually get that little bit of breather in the breaks for a while, and then maybe they can come out on top again. Only time can answer the question.
Yeah, time is certainly going to be telling us as to
Yeah.
how F4 is going to retaliate, but I'm pretty sure that they will be. But let's take a look at the kill leaders over here. Of course, Joker, he's going to be on the top. 8 kills, certainly justifies the phenom that he is. and we are gonna witness even bigger things from him. He's just now trying to tickle with us. He's just playing around. The foreplay is going on. He is showing how good he is, the potential that he's carrying on forward, and he's not any amateur. He's been in the scene for quite some time over here. He knows how to play. He knows
Yeah.
how to get that kill. But then you've got Kova coming in, a new blood that is striving, to put himself on the board over there. 5 kills. So Team R3G Esports, they certainly are having a time of their life right now.
Yup, they are. And as you said, Joker, that man certainly does know how to play his cards, as we all do know. Jokers are real good when it comes to, playing with their cards and stuff like that. And overall, the way this man was actually capitalizing with the high ground that he had, and just the way he was catching a lot of teams off guard in the rotation, and sometimes even he was the one actually to pin down a lot of squads as well. And somewhere down the line, we do know he does deserve the spot that he is getting right now.
Certainly does. He certainly does. I mean, no second thoughts on that. But where does, this win by R3G take them on in terms of the overall ranking? So let's take a look at that and see, which are the teams, that have taken the first position. Because of course, after this, we still have the last game where Team F4 really come in. And, once the overall rankings really come up in front of our screens, we'll have an even, clearer picture, even a better idea as to how things have panned out. So there you go. F4 Esports are still continuing the domination despite that early loss, but Futurestation looks like they've caught up with them after playing 3 games. But this is where STALWARTxFLEX comes in, right? They are gonna play the next game. It's still doable if they get some, say, like 8-9 points. I think they're taking that first position.
And yep, exactly, and especially if you're going to be having a man like Johnny and Crypto in your backpack, then all the other teams are going to be having to face a massive deal over here, because we all do know what kind of domination these lads put up in the previous game, or in the last game, as we can say. And yeah, overall, I really have massive hopes for going in as well. And somewhere down the line, Futurestation actually proving themselves over here and actually managing to get the second spot as well. And another team that I really want to talk about, A1 Esports. Yeah, they are actually one of the teams that is being the third party, and they are one of the players that are being annoying. We all don't like when you get third party, and certainly there are going to be a lot of teams actually raging themselves, and A1 Esports is actually going to be the reason for that as well, because we did see yesterday A1 Esports completely pinning down Carnage, and today as well they completely pinned down Carnage, and that is that's just unfortunate.
I mean, that's how life is, to be honest. You really can't expect things to go fair in battle royals, at least. You have to anticipate that. And A1 Esports, not really the position where I would have wanted to see them, because I know, these lads, the kind of an experience that they carry on, the kind of a roster that they have, they should easily be in the top 3. But that's where things even get better, so all these new teams coming in, giving all the old guards a run for their money. That's what we want. That's the kind of an action that we would expect from all these lads out here. But they've got freestyle. They're struggling, so much. Haven't really been inside the zone. They've been trying to find the ins and outs, but they've been punished for every single thing that they're throwing on the table. And the same thing can be said for Team Venom Legends, another team that did establish their domination during the PMPL last time, but somewhere, not really having the kind of a start that they would have wanted during the scrims.
Yeah, Venom Legends are kind of, struggling on their knees right now, but I'm pretty sure as the time passes by, the wounds are going to be healed, and I'm pretty sure this is where like most of the teams are actually, more kind of like testing their waters right now. This is the scrims that are meant to, for you to actually test what kind of strategies are working and what kind of not. So we cannot be taking these scrims as like the final result. We still have to wait for the main games to happen in the future.
I mean, we certainly have to. But now, ladies and gentlemen, teams from Group A are going to take a breather. They're just going to take a step back and sit themselves out. Charge the devices, watch the games, because now we have teams from Group C coming in. Again, it's going to be Miramar, the same old map. Now, considering the fact that if you take a look at Group B, you do not have the boys from, God's Reborn playing. So now this sort of gives them that early game breather, right? Certainly what they needed, that they can get that loot going on. Once they have got enough loot, they can certainly go on with their rotation. So now in the second game, considering teams like Deadeyes coming in, I really want to see what Hungry Box has to put on the table, because he
Yeah.
is a player that has impressed me a lot of times, every single time he comes in. Now, but at the same time, the kind of a roster changes that have been going on here and
Yeah.
there and there and again there somewhere else. So you need to find that synchronization. You need to find the rhythm as to where you find yourself in the team. So, I'm really excited to look forward to it, because again, I have to remind all our viewers, these are the scrims. This is where, teams are just trying, to practice their new strats, trying to go in as aggressive they can, trying to polish their gun skills in terms of positioning and taking those fights. So that is the reason why we're witnessing all those early game skirmishes. But now it's time for game number 2 for today's evening, ladies and gentlemen. And there you have the flight path trajectory going all the way up top from Ruins towards Puerto Paraiso.
And yep, and this is what we like to see. A lot of teams might be clashing onto the sides of San Martin and even Los Leonas, because this the plane fly path is just completely flying on top of that. And we all do know, we all want to see those, early game fights breaking down as well. And certainly a lot of teams might not even care to, fight out, because these are just scrims, as we said. These are more kind of like the practice matches.
They certainly are. I mean, considering how teams have taken a drop over here, we can see the players of NFP heading on towards La Cupreria. But look at INES. They certainly want to, utilize those ruins area that have been lately introduced and have been reworked in the refurbished version of Miramar that we just did see quite some months ago. So yeah, I mean, that is certainly one of those areas that is really safe when you want to just drop off. But taking a look at El Pozo, we've got the points over here from Futurestation, Gremlin Storm, the former squad of INES as we know them. And, now they've changed their drop location. Back in the days, they used to drop in towards San Martin. And, you talk about 1v4s, 1v3s. These lads never cease to surprise us.
And yep, exactly. I mean, as you were saying, these guys maybe have changed, their drop location this time. But exactly what I said, Fixes, maybe these were just the practice matches, they're just testing new waters out. They're just testing how things might be panning out if they actually change the drop location as well. And maybe there, a lot of teams might be going back and watching these scrim matches just to overall get a help onto the PNPL side as well. Because, yeah, we do know you should be doing your homework if you're going to be going for those final exams as well. But maybe, in the end, in those final exams, I feel like a lot of teams are going to be throwing a curveball onto us. But I'm going to hold on to my words, because A1 Esports are in a massive water trouble. As Snipe YT, we all do know what this man is capable of. He's already found an opening for himself.
I mean, that's the kind of a play he is in terms of having a bolt action, in terms of having an assault rifle. I mean, hit this man a pistol and he'll get you a knock. But, going against a team like A1 Esports is certainly not going to be easy again. We've got Nepal and Bangladesh going against each other right from the very start. Now, this is going to be really tricky. And Sinister and Dante already biting the dust. And, A1 Esports being shoved away from Los Leones. Now, that's a statement that Carnage Esports have made for themselves over here.
And yep, they have. And I mean, we all do know what Carnage is capable of. Like, I cannot stop talking about Carnage as well, because just the overall performance these lads put up in those Nepali regional finals was just so phenomenal. Because I don't know, man, I'm just actually so impressed by this team overall performance. But for now, we are going to be taking our focus off from Carnage and going to be focusing on the Deadeyes for now, because we did see them play yesterday, and certainly somewhere down the line they are on those struggling pages as well.
I mean, yeah, they're sort of struggling, but I need to hold on to my thoughts as we have the boys from Magnus, just making a push on towards the players of DRS Gaming. But Nima retaliating in fashion over here as Adele gets another beautiful knock on towards Gyols and DRS in a whole world of trouble. But so is the players of Magnus as the fight has finally erupted between them, and Adele having that TPP angle for himself. Nima, of course, saw that kill, and there you go. Adele just charging in and getting his body on the line, firing those bullets with his AKM, and then again coming back, repositioning and being prepared for the fight. But one single moment, if a single nade goes on towards him, what next?
exactly what next as we keep on talking the aggression. It's going to be coming from Nima. That man is not scared of anyone. Nima is going to be aggressing at MGS from the backlines, being one of those annoying pages over here. And yep, seems like DRS have gotten the upper edge and they have made things certainly better for themselves this time. And DRS has just completely obliterated the entire squad of MGS, and last man is going to be weakened. And it seems like he has had enough of it as well, so he's just going to be backing off, taking that, taking that back pause a little bit. He's just going to be pausing out. He doesn't really want to challenge the fight anymore. Going to be taking his sweet little time to loot, as DRS is going to be the more dominating squad inside this entire fight and this entire situation. And now, I really want to talk about MGS as well. Now, this team is really struggling. By really struggling, I mean they're getting tackled down easily by any of those teams. And certainly this is one of the teams that actually loses their players on those early game phases as well. Now, what do they need to do to actually make sure that their players are not dying early off? And now this is exactly what I mean by practice matches. Now, these are more kind of matches where you need to test your waters out. And I feel like MGS, somewhere down line, they are doing the same thing as well.
I mean, right now, we've seen this the squad under a different banner. I believe it was Next Gen. Now they've of course been sponsored over here. Magnus is the roster that they're playing under, and like you've mentioned already, we might sound like broken records on that, but they're all just trying out different stats, and the kinds of push that we are getting from all these teams. Magnus not really shying away, going in front of a team like DRS. Of course, what do you expect? They are going to retaliate back, and it's going to be heavy. And I really thought, when I came down to cast the scrims, I really thought, the teams are going to take their own sweet time, try to loot and try to get inside the circle, and then maybe the fight starts. Then maybe we might get to see the pandemonium that we expect from all these teams. But no, that is definitely not the case over here. These teams are all bloodthirsty. They want blood right from the very start. They spot their enemies and they're like, guys, I'm really going in. I do not really have anything to lose. Let's just try and see how we're taking these fights. But one thing I'm yet to witness or I'm yet to watch is those use of those stun grenades by these teams, because that is so instrumental during all these fights. I mean, imagine the moment Team Magnus went in, had they had a few stun grenades, they could have dished out so much damage to the players of DRS, not in terms of actual health damage, but in terms of just flashing them off, and that would have given them that clear route to just go in and make the push, and maybe they could have won the fight.
And yep, and I'm gonna, take a little bit of pause over here just to realize what High Voltage was trying to do. Now, they did know a team was in the city over here, and they tried their best to take the high ground and completely surround these lads, but then they realized that they're just wasting a lot of time in executing this strategy, whatever they're planning. So they actually decided to back out, which is, one of the more, as I would like to say, a brilliant decision coming in from these lads, because we all do know those early game rotation inside the middle of the circle might actually pan a lot of things in your team's favor as well. But now, as you were talking about, dying as a warrior, like not backing off and just dying in the fights overall. I mean, there's a saying, and this is where the saying actually comes in play as well. The saying is, you would rather die a warrior than die a coward.
I mean, why not? I mean, that's the way you would want to live your life, at least
Yep.
in the battlegrounds over here. But here we can see the players of 952 kind of backing off, and we did see them during the PMCO the regional finals. Of course, they've made their way in over here, but now they're in a bit of a pickle over here, because the boys from NFP, they are actually committing with the fight. However, Sharp does have that high ground advantage for himself, but look at Hawkrock's position. The moment Sharp kind of reveals himself, that's the moment he's going to get that cover fire, and he does realize the gravity of the situation, and as a result of which he backs off.
Yep, I mean, backing off is certainly going to be more kind of like the safer play coming from 1952. And in 1952, one of the team's fixes that was called A1 Esports 1952.
Yeah.
But certainly this time, it's just going to be called
Now
1952.
you've got A1 Esports playing, so kind of trying
yeah.
to avoid the conflict.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. It does make sense. You know, a lot of people might get confused what's exactly happening, but overall, 1952 is going to be playing on that safer page as well. So they're just going to be backing out from this fight as NFP are one of the most squads that are down real bad. And they are somewhere down in the overall standings. They are completely at the bottom lines as well. So, I mean, NFP would have to play a real, aggressive game to actually make something happen over here because I mean, if you're going to be completely farming out this game, then maybe you are going to be having that, somewhere top 5 situations for yourself built up.
Right now, Necro, we've got kind of a different zone forming for us over here. The first up airdrop does come in, and again, it's the big green cannon, and of course, it has that sweet attachment along with it. The pleasure of satisfaction you get. The suppressor, and what else do you need? Just an 8-time scope, and give it to a player like Snipe YT, and as his name really suggests, or as he is known for, he's gonna hit those heads and he's gonna hit them hard. And all you need is that one bullet. Does not really matter if you're having that level 3 kit onto towards you. You are going down. But elsewhere, if you talk about the positioning of the teams, you can see the players over here of Team F4. You've got Rahman finally coming into the battlegrounds. The king of Pakistan PUBG Mobile, as a lot of players or a lot of viewers proclaim. He's got a lot of metal to prove, and we've got to see as to how he plays this one out.
Yup, and that's going to be another factor for another day, but seems like Deadeyes this time has spotted the entire rotation coming in from F4 as well. They are going to be spotting, and take a look at On Top over here. It does realize he is spotting Khan, but yeah, just a little bit of suppressing fire as just to, more kind of like a chest banging announcement coming in from On Top that, yeah, we are on top of this hill. Don't ever try to mess with us, and certainly seems like Deadeyes are going to get punished for that, and seems like the enemy team, which they aren't just not going to be scared of them any longer. But for now, it seems like LoG1 is actually taking a real step high this time. It seems like Blank is actually going to be taking down Aussie from High Voltage. And yep, we did see, High Voltage somewhere down the line. We did see them actually trying to, completely surround down LoG1 in the city of Chumasera, but seems like LoG1 has turned the tables onto their enemy team.
Right now, I mean, LoG1 is a kind of a team that tends to avoid those fights early on, but right now they're kind of in a bit of a pickle over here, as Refat has been taken down. High Voltage over here, Cloud taking quite some, beating from those rifle sprays, and there you go, the nade being crooked. How is he gonna dodge this one? This is going to be really tricky for him, as Kraken just hits that Kobe. I'm sure Kobe must be proud of him.
Yup, he certainly will be, but for now, I'm going to hold on to my words as well, because Havoc seems like he might want to hit another Kobe as well, but doesn't realize that Fuad is already all the way in the back line. It's a beautiful, brilliant play coming from Fuad. Does realize that there might be some nades chucked in onto his side, so he did back out for a while, and then as soon as he heard the nade pop off, he closed his distance out, and now the smokes are going to be coming through to just block a little bit of visual assistance from the enemy team as well. Extreme does have that little bit of, high ground advantage going inside this, but LoG1 do have that man advantage going inside as well. So LoG1 somewhere down the line, we do know that these guys might come out on top in this fight, because man advantage is going to be a lot much more important factor inside this fight. But now I really want to see the zone shift over here, where the zone shift is going to be, and just take a look at that, Fixes. The zone shift is a complete disaster for all these teams that are going to be outside, but LoG1, as I'm saying, it's going to be 24k Fuad taking down Extreme. Unfortunate turn of events for High Voltage.
And there you go, Rahman in the kill feed, as we can see. Lo and behold, the mighty warrior, as Reborn just charges in, wipes out the existence of High Voltage. And this is where I'm so proud of the glass from LoG1, the way they have been grinding. They've kind of built that image around themselves, that they are kind of those teams that tends to fight in those final circles. They highly rely on the positioning, but no. Not today, sir. Because if you are trying to get on their faces, they are going to punish you. They're going to hit you back really hard. And there you go. That squad wipe was a testament of what we are yet to witness from them once the league starts off. But like you mentioned, the curveball really hitting us hard, going all the way to its greater fields. And El Pozo, you've got a lot of compounds you can play along with. You've got the lads from, Kremlin Storm present over there. But let's see what is going to happen as a fight fight has already erupted out over here as Deadeyes, Suyok getting that knock onto its Joker and wiping out his existence, deleting him from the server.
Yup, big names going down. Joker was certainly one of the kill leaders from the previous game, but SG seems like they're just going to be completely throwing those nades like a basketball. They're going to be chucking them inside the houses, but not going to be able to connect much, though the first nade did manage to do a little bit of chip damage onto Deadeyes, but certainly not enough to take anyone down. Just take a look at Hungrybox. This man is closing the distance. He's going to be charging it through onto Heaven. Heaven has heard him, and Heaven is trying his best to send Hungrybox to hell. Is he going to be able to? And no, it's going to be Hungrybox denying Heaven completely out and sending Heaven to hell this time.
Of course, that he did, and I mean, it's Hungrybox we are talking about in the end of the day. So, we know what potential this lad has, and now playing under the banner of Deadeyes. I mean, this team has got a lot more scary right now. It's a more lethal. It's got that extra punch that he puts on the table. They did manage to wipe out Skylights over here. I mean, that's not a joke over there. I mean, this is one of those squads you need to be really watching out for, and the way they just engaged in the fight, they made it look so easy. But look at the players of Stalwarts. They're in a whole world of trouble. Two of their players already being knocked out. Of course, Uzim getting that revive, but they need to get played back online, and they need to do that pretty soon.
Yup, they do need to, and we do know what Stalwart is capable of as well, but seems like NF this time are going to be finding a knock onto Blade, and now they're just going to be backing out because they do know they might get contested from the back lines, as there is going to be another team. It's going to be F4, and it seems like, yup, they do have making a real brilliant play this time by NFB. They're just going to be backing out to their entire teammates, and yup, they do have a little bit of decent cover going inside. But the cover is certainly not going to be inside the zone as well. They will have to make their presence inside the zone as soon as possible. But I'm going to hold on to my words because another fight is erupting in through. It's going to be 1952 entry going down early. And the res will be coming in through. The res will be stuck onto him as we take a look at Crypto trying to damage a little bit of players onto NFB. But seems like he is going to get denied, and Crypto getting damaged in the return fire as well. But for now, over here, STALWARTxFLEX are making a little bit of questionable decision choices. And yes, exactly, that is going to be happening. That's kind of questionable, If you're going to be making choices like those, then you will be punished because you're out in the open. And if you're going to be trying to, climb onto those top mountains, then you will have to make sure to secure those early game rotations. And this is what I was trying to say. If you're going to be securing those early game rotations, then that is going to be panning a lot of things out in your team's favor.
I mean, right now, they meant no harm. They were just trying to get on top of the hill over there. And of course, they were punished. And if you're going to try to do that during the PMPL, they've got a taste. They've now got an understanding of what they are about to witness. But by the looks of it, Team TUF going against INES Kajor. And ironic, we know how promising these lads were during the regional finals, the way they picked themselves up. But one good grenade, by the players of INES is going to kind of go in and wipe out their existence, and that has been delivered. Is it gonna connect though? No, it's just going far by a mile. And now comes the plunge where Kajor just wants to charge in, but he's kind of in the dark about the positioning of the players. INES kind of completely engulfing the players of the UF there, and a whole world of trouble. And there you go, King goes down by Newt. Now this is the calling. This is where they decide to push. Now they've got those footsteps over here. Venom trying to lob it, that really highly tossed grenade, but that's not gonna do any damage. Venom is still trying to do something over there. Ironic just pushing out onto him, and there you go. INES completely deleting TUF out from the lobby.
What a clean wipe coming in from these lads. The way these guys completely pushed was an absolute heroic entry from all these men, all these 4 men from INES, and certainly proving up to their name this time. One of the Bangladeshi teams that we are talking about over there, and it seems like they are stepping their game up. And just take a look at this beautiful spray coming from Futurestation. Kopshi going to be proning down, and then going to be taking down another member of Carnage, and Jiggle is in a massive water trouble as Jiggle has been capitalized as well. Kopshi is just an absolute laser beam. He's not going to be stopping anytime soon. There are so many rotations being made from Carnage. A desperate rotation as well made from Anik as well. Snipe-wise, he's taking so much damage outside the zone. Now, he does need to make his way inside, but Futurestation somewhere down the line, they are making things so much more harder for them.
This certainly are. You know, you try to do that, you try to pull off these kind of shenanigans in front of the players of, Futurestation, Gremlin Storm over there, they're gonna punish you. And that is what Kampshi did. I mean, did you look at the way he controlled his prey over there? It was miles apart, but he did not really even sliver for even a single second over there. As you can see, Evil Eye already charging in right into the heart of the enemy over here. Entry, he needs to watch out. He needs to watch his 6. He needs to watch his 9. Kopshi takes the jump. He needs to go in. But Entry, has he been spotted? He does take a few bullets down there. And it's kind of in the dark about his position. Entry, he's just, crawling over there. He's just not giving away any steps. And the moment the Gremlin Storm have got their, eyes to a different fight, that's when he might charge. But him lobbing those grenades sort of has now, messed things up for 1952 over here.
Yup, that has revealed his position, and now the nade will be coming through from Machine as well. Is that nade going to be connecting? And yes, it is going to be dealing a little bit of damage. Certainly not enough to take him down, but now Machine does realize that he needs to make his way next to his teammates as well. Entry trying his best to pop those boosters and meds to get himself back up, but no. Entry is going to be struggling on those medical situation as well, as he doesn't have any bandage nor first aid as well, and he needs to make his way inside the circle right now. If he doesn't, then he is going to get punished, but no, certainly he decides to just stay outside and take his chances to secure that 1 point for his team as well. Going to be spotting Kopshi, but no, he's going to get finished by the zone, and this is exactly what we say. If you're not going to be respecting the zone early off, you are going to get punished by it as well. And Futurestation, now they are going to be banging their chests and trying their best to actually get inside the zone as well. They are going to be grabbing their vehicles, but how are they going to be making the rotation? That's going to be a massive question, because if you're certainly going to be using those vehicles, your location is going to get revealed instantly.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be. But I want to grab your attention towards the circle. Look at it. Look at how Team F has positioned themselves. But here you go. The players of Futurestation just charging in. Machine leaving no stones unturned over there. Just wipes everyone down. And there you go. Team NFPxSky are out from this lobby right now, as we have 6 teams surviving, 14 players alive. And Hungry Box, he is a man who is hungry. Did catch the players of Team F4 off guard. Did manage to take one out. But how long can they survive? Can they get inside the center of the circle? Can they take this fight head on? You still have Rahman over there. You still have the likes of Khan. You've got Voltrox. So Team F4 is a completely star-studded roster over there. But now, considering the fact that they're in the center, so many teams, are just prying down onto them, that's going to be really tricky.
Yup, that is going to be on the tricky side. But for now, it seems like Deadeyes do have a real good position inside the circle as well. But they do have that little bit of down ridge for themselves. And if they do want to, get that high ground advantage, they will have to expose their body. And we all do know there are so many bloodthirsty animals in this playing field. And they are just waiting for that little bit of, mistakes made from those enemy. And they will be capitalizing onto it instantly. So Kopshi going to be exposing his head a little bit. This is exactly what I'm saying. Hungry Box is certainly hungry, and he is waiting for his prey to peek himself out, and he does want those kills in his backpack as well. But now it seems like STALWARTxFLEX this time and Deadeyes are on those closer phases next to each other. Now, STALWARTxFLEX certainly do not have that man advantage going inside, because that's just going to be the last man standing for them. So it's a 1 on maybe 3 situation, because Deadeyes, one player is completely separated from the another. So it's going to be Hungry Box on the back lines playing in for them. And Hungry Box now is going to be close situation over there for STALWARTxFLEX, and just on his teammates as well. So now it's a 1-on-4 situation over there for STALWARTxFLEX, and I really feel like at this point he should be playing that rat role where he just does not give his position away and waits for all these teams to fight each other out, and then when he finds the right moment to strike, he will just do third-party situations.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you do not really want to find yourself in that spot, but you really need to go in there. You really need to make it inside the circle. So Deadeyes have done a pretty decent job at that. We still have, the players of STALWARTxFLEX, Uzum being the lonesome survivor. But how long does he survive? Has his position really been compromised? That's the bigger question. Machine, going in with his vehicle, he's going to be punished, because Hungry Box sure has heard the sound of that vehicle just coming in close. But he does have the Vector, and quite an interesting choice in a map like Miramar. But considering this particular range, this is where the Vector weapon really shines. things, and now he just needs to back off, needs to reposition himself over there. Sheepwhistle lobbing a grenade and not getting anything done right now, but Machine trying to take down those shots with his gun, and well, he's trying to, kind of flush out the enemies. He's trying to kind of fend off the push, but yeah, he did succeed over there, dealing a lot of damage onto his hungry box, but that's not going to be enough.
Kopshi unquestionably trying his best to provide a little bit of cover fire from the back lines, but Deadeyes certainly do have that man advantage going inside this fight as well. It's a 2-on-4 situation, so Deadeyes do have that massive man advantage going inside. This Machine taking so much damage from the Molotov, going to be backing out from his position, going to be repositioning himself, and Deadeyes seems like super sure is going to be having a hard time as well, going to be healing himself back up, and seems like now Deadeyes are looking in a real good spot as well. Now, of course, Hungry Box, one of the men that we do need to watch out from, and seems like Machine is going to be in a real uncomfortable spot, trying his best to force himself out of that position as well, going to be utilizing those smoke grenades and trying his best to provide himself that little bit of cover. But now, the distances for them is certainly going to be a real big factor playing in as well. Now, Shufus are getting that trade in onto F4 this time, and certainly is going to be getting that res instantly back in as well. Now, this is what we are saying, the top 3 teams, the trifecta of death, as we like to call it.
I mean, now this is going to get even more serious. It's Nepal against Bangladesh against Pakistan. Who's going to come out on top? As you can see, Machine really taking that upper angle over there, trying to get that one knock. But look at Team F4. They're making their move inside the zone. Now the teams over here, Futurestation is going against Deadeyes. This gives, again, the players of Team F4 enough room to just try and close in. But look at Reborn. He is trying, to kind of block off, let his teammates get inside a sweet spot, and then maybe he's gonna make his move. But Machine and Kapshi, they really need to hold on to their horses. They really need to take this fight in a proper manner, because one good grenade might just do the job. But here comes the push as Machine gets that one beautiful knock. He needs to get that reload on. He does get it. Can he get the second?
Oh.
Yes, he does. And he needs to go in for the third, and he certainly will. But before that, he's getting all those confirmations for himself. As there you go, on top, he's trying to do something, but no, nothing is happening really. Suyog, Hungry Box, everyone just wiped out, and it's Machine who comes out on top, wiping out the entirety over here. But now he's on his lonesome. It's a 1v3. Can he clutch it out?
I mean, certainly he does have the legacy to do that as well, but it's a 1-on-3 situation. F4 is one of the teams that doesn't really like to give the opening spaces, and of course, it's going to be F4 completely taking the situation in their hands. A beautiful performance coming in from these last. This is exactly what I was expecting.
Team F4, I mean, be whatever it may, the Pakistani region is here to win. And wow, that's again a smarter play. That's smarter PUBG Mobile display from the teams over here, especially Team F4. I mean, they let the players of Futurestation and Deadeyes just to fight it out. And it's kind of a deja vu moment. It's just the difference is that we've got different teams. Last time it was, of course, another team. It was Regicide. This time it's, of course, Team F4. But the scene was pretty much similar. You had PN and LoG1 going against each other. That's when the fight ended, and they just took them all. But wow, that was some amazing assaulting coming out from Machine. The way he positioned himself during those fights, the way he got out, got that knock, came back in, went in for the reload, and you got Kamshi providing that essential cover fire from behind. That was so beautiful to watch, and as a result of which, of course, they've got the second position. But Machine, you got my respect.
Machine, you absolute animal. You're just an absolute machine of an animal. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm gonna make it because he's just an absolute robotic aimbot, as we like to call it. He just completely solo-handedly decimated the entire squad of Deadeyes, and Deadeyes is one of the teams that is we do not expect this from Deadeyes. No, we do not.
I mean, I don't know what to say at this point.
Me too.
They had the numbers. He was just one little man, just having the cover from that vehicle. And they have that small weapon called Vector, and he just mowed them out. all alone, all by himself. Of course, he had that guy, his teammate coming in, but in terms of kill frags, it was a 1v4 wipeout from him there over there. But after that, team Future Station did not really have that breathing space to kind of recollect themselves, because that's where the boys from F4 really striked right into their hearts. That's where they realized that this is a do or die situation, because after Machine has gotten those 4 kills, he is high with adrenaline right now, and we can't give him those those spaces to kind of
Yeah.
readjust himself. So they just went in ham right on their faces, got that initial knock onto its Kapshi, got that final elimination. But wow, I mean, Necro, what are we witnessing over here? All these teams going after each other in such a fashion?
And exactly as you mentioned, this is just a little bit of glimpse of these skill levels that these lads have. And if we are already seeing this kind of competition in scrims, then I don't know what is going to be happening. Only God can answer the question.
I mean, I am really excited to see the match rankings over here, to be honest, because
Yeah.
I want to see how many points have all these teams collected, how many points have all these teams garnered for themselves. Because in terms of match ranking, of course, again, you will expect to see, Team F4 coming out on top, with 8 kills, getting 23 points. But look, Future Station is not far behind, just that 1 point of a difference.
Yup, just at one point. Future Station is just so good, and certainly, Machine, man, you just have earned my respect, and even Fixes is like just the overall gameplay that you showed, and just the overall initial flow this man built in those in-game situations. But then F4, just coming in and they're showing that, okay, we are the boss, we're not going to be letting you take that, because, I mean, we also have to give the props that it was a 1-on-4 situation. F4 did have all their lads alive in those late game situation as well, and certainly F4 always just proving me right. And as I always like to say, F4 is one of the teams that is just so consistent and dominant in their region, and even in the overall performance that we are seeing in the scrims right now.
I mean, now things are gonna get even more intense, to be honest. F4. Well, we know that this is a big team from Pakistan. We know their accolades. We know how really extravagant they are in their approach towards the game. They've got that star-studded lineup, and I think this finally they've kind of figured out their footing inside the game. They've figured out what role they need to assign for their players. Now, I told you this really before, right in the start of the game. Give them that room, give them that space in the early game, and they're gonna win this one. Of course, this time the zone was sort of favoring them towards the end. We did see them having that center, but hey, they took it, they got it for themselves. They sort of defended it. They did lose out on one of their players from Hungry Box, if I remember, but
Yeah.
again, they did manage to get the chicken, and that is all that matters. Now we do have the boys from F4 just sitting this one out, because now we've got teams coming in again. Group A, they'll just
Yeah.
jump themselves inside the lobby. But the way teams have been playing, if I have to ask for a prediction, I know this is really difficult, but I'm gonna put you on the spot right now. Who do you think is gonna win?
I mean, this is a real, this is a
I like
you always just like to put me in those uncomfortable spots. I'm not gonna say a name, please. I do not want to say a name. I do not want to predict any of these, because it's like if I say what name, then the people would be offended. You're like, oh, you're biased and stuff like that.
No,
Maybe
no, no. Come on.
that might be happening.
We've got all
Oh,
our choices, man. We are human beings. We are entitled to our opinions, right? And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I really want, Gremlin Storm, Future Station to come in and get the win over here, because hey, they deserve it. They did so much in those final game, points. And had Badrev not been taken down from the backlines, I think Entry was the one who did that. But
yeah.
anyways, let's take a look at the kill leaders as we have a conversation rolling over here. And there you go, Machine, 6
Machine.
kills. And there you go, the
Yep.
king of Pakistan, PUBG Mobile, Rahman, coming out on 4 kills. And you've got Nima and Tawfiq not really far behind.
Exactly, Rehman, the man who actually makes Pakistan proud, gonna be securing those 4 kills as well. And then Future Station, of course, a machine with 6 kills. Now we did see a little bit of glimpse of what this man is capable of, and already the next game, I just don't know what he might be doing, because I mean they're putting on so much, and now we certainly do want them to secure a chicken dinner as well for themselves.
You know, once the players of Team F4 kind of get in their groove, in their rhythm, I've seen them, you know, kind of obliterating everyone. I've seen, you know, those 23, 24 kills, bombs. I've seen Rahman, you know, getting those 13, 14 kills in a game. So you give them that free area to kind of settle in, and he delivers. But now, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, let's take a look at the overall rankings and see how far have F4 pushed them up. And there you have it at 67 points. But hold on to your thoughts, as we've got Futurestation not really far behind. Just that
Yep.
5 points of difference. But, you know, by the looks of it, they're done with all the games. They're going to sit it out. And we're going to see maybe a new winner, maybe
Hmm.
STALWARTxFLEX, maybe R3G coming in again. Because all these chicken dinners we have seen so far are from the teams who are in the top 4.
Yep, they are. But now I also want to see Stalwart Flex dominate again, fixes, because yesterday in the end game, Stalwart Flex was the team that actually completely dominated the field in the end game situations in the map of Wrangle. And now, are they going to be able to keep the same flow going inside Miramar as well? Because I really want this team to, step up the lines of success as well. But now, another team that is certainly not doing well, it's going to be Blood Legions. And you
Um,
ask me why, then I mean we don't really know, like what exactly is going on in their heads as well.
they're still
Because
trying, you know, to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah. I mean, yeah. This is exactly what we're saying. Those roster changes are coming in through, but I don't really feel like the roster changes are panning out in their favor as they have planned it out as well. Because certainly exchanging a man like Ryan on that, more kind of like the fragging side as well, and then
Exactly.
yeah,
I mean,
exactly,
sorry to cut you off over there, Necro,
yeah,
but you know, I could not really hold on to my thought over there, considering, I mean, come on, you're the champions. You've got that perfect squad over here. You've got that perfect
yeah.
synergy between your players. You've got Ryan and Leo. These two are the
Hmm.
lads that you actually need, but you've got into other players, of course, your substitutes. Maybe they're just trying out something around with them, maybe trying to figure out some new different stats. But right now, what I want to see is a Blood Legion domination, the kind of a performance that they had put up in the Bangladeshi region this time, with the kind of a pure carnage that they dealt upon all the other squads. This is what Blood Legion is known for.
Exactly. I mean, we do know what Blood Legion is capable of, and I really want to see a glimpse of that again. I want to see that recap going in inside what we saw in regional finals, because we do know what Blood Legion is capable of, and players like Gyro and Dominic. Oh my god, like I just don't need to stress things enough on these lads. But for now, guys, we are going to be heading on to a short little break. But next game is going to be more kind of intense one.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the PUBG Mobile South Asia Pro Scrims 2021, of course, brought to you by R3G Gaming over here as we head along to the third game where we have the teams from Groups A and Group C facing off against each other. This is where we are going to witness the few teams making a comeback, out of which those big names, if you talk about them, we've got Venom Legends coming in. R3G Esports, of course, the winners of the first game of Miramar. Now, they are also going to be playing it along. So now, I think Team FO has certainly kind of cemented this spot. They have kind of run out of the matches that they have to play today. They'll be coming on another day. But moving on, like we've already asked you, but to be honest, I also do not know who's going to win this one out because all these teams are playing so very well. But okay, so now let me ask you, where do you think the circle is going to be? Now, this is something that you can really, give a prediction upon.
Yeah, surely I can do that. To be honest, I really want the circle to actually pan out in Las Leonas because I like crowdy situations, and
Okay.
I like just hell-breaking, complete losing those late game situations as well. I just want to see an absolute clusterphobia in those late game situations.
To be honest, I really want to see maybe a Hacienda del Patron circle over there because, it's been quite some time. It's one of those spots which is really tricky to approach. It's that one big compound, but it's kind of surrounded with those hilly slopes. It has got those terrains where the teams can, play in. Now, Los Leones completely, changes things over here in Miramar. Kind of changes its entire definition, the entire nature of how Miramar has to be. You kind of tend to get that Erangel vibe where you've got those urban warfares going on. You need to have those grenades, you need to have those smokes, you gotta look out for those snipers up top. So so much things happening there. It kind of changes the meta, but Hacienda kind of gives you that flavor of Miramar. Well, that's only my opinion that I have over here. But again, now we've kind of ignored one more team that we need to really discuss upon. That is Team STALWARTxFLEX. Now this is a team that did take some beating in that game, but right now in terms of positioning they were still well positioned. I think they ended up at the 4th spot. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are already online with the flight path trajectory being quite similar this time again from Ruins, going slightly towards the northern area, I mean towards the eastern side. That's going to be the junkyard.
And yep, exactly. Focusing on the stalwart. Now, I really want to again point out the overall execution strategy came in from the end fight in the Erangel map in the last game as well. Now, overall, the way these lads just completely picked off T2K one by one, and they actually did plan the things out as well. Now they did send a man like Crypto on the back lines, and then another one of their teammates was in the complete front lines. He did close the distance out on the players of D2K, and then he got the opening kill. Then Crypto from the back lines was doing a little bit of chip damage, and those utilities were coming in play as well. Now this is what we say a completely constructive plan and execution by all these lads. And now, Stalwart, they are certainly capable of doing that as well. And if they are going to be securing a real good position inside the zone, just like they did in the map of Erangel, then I really feel like we might have ourselves a massive deal going in. And another squad, as I was talking, Blood Legions, I really want these lads to step their gameplay up. And PN Crew, we do know that a little bit of roster changes have came in through as well for them. And as time processes by, as the time is going to be going through, I really feel like PN Crew might get used to what they are putting themselves in as well.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly will. And, even the first game, they had quite a decent outing out there. But now I really want to see the boys from 7C, to be honest, coming back in. They've got Daughter, and this lad is from Sri Lanka. I know how explosive he is. He was just that one solo man army. I mean, I'm really sorry if it offends anyone because I have seen what he's capable of. He is one-man destruction squad out there. He does not care who is in front of him. Once he gets in the rhythm, once he gets in the flow, he's going to carry the entire team out. Now, he's got a team like 7C who have their accolades in the past. Now, if, they have kind of synergized well. Now, we, of course, know that 7C is an invited team over here. And now they've got Totter in. It's basically just like, Zeus getting Godless, and he kind of wreaks havoc inside the whole lobby. So, I'm yet to see more out of Totter. I did not really get to see enough from him in the first game, but this game, maybe something better from this lad.
Yep, that would be. But now it does seem like Venom Legends, the situation that is going on inside here, it does seem like Venom Legends do have a little bit of upper edge inside the fight, as STALWARTxFLEX are kind of disturbed. They are not next to each other. And that certainly might be the change of pacing for them as well, because they will have to close the distance out on their teammates as well. But a little bit of, return fire coming in from Johnny as well. Going to be spotting one of the players from Venom Legends, but not going to be able to connect any of those shots. The suppressing fire shots just to make sure that they know that they are present and he has been spotted. The suppressing shots actually do a lot of tactical work for their teams as well. Now, each and every single step that is going to be made by these teams, they are going to be more kind of like those crucial parts coming in from these lads as well. But now, how are they going to be playing the situations out? That's going to be a massive question. As there is one of the kills coming in from the kill feed as well. It's going to be high voltage this time, making things much more uncomfortable for TUF. And again, TUF is going to be finding that little bit of trade on to Kuni as well.
Yeah, I mean, fights breaking down right from the start. And, well, we've got Uzim over here. Just has the cover of the vehicle. He needs to back off. And he will indeed do that. Venom Legends, this is another squad that is known, for their venomous performance. I mean, they get in the mind of their enemies and they kind of take them down. And, they've got players like Rafet, they've got players like Steel Shot right now, they've got players like Frypan, Nightwing, every single one of them. We know how prolific this squad has been. And in fact, during the last PMPL, when I casted them out, I mean, I really expected even bigger things from them. And they have certainly delivered. But now they've got their eyes on. They know that they've got their goals set. This is the PMPL is certainly where they're not going to stop at. They certainly want to move into the next round. They certainly want to be in contention for that massive, massive $14 million prize pool we have. But look at what we have now in front of our screens. TUF again going against Team HV.
Yup, it seems like HP are in a massive water trouble as both of them are down to low HP. And yup, that nade is going to be finishing the kill off onto HP as well, but also taking down Assassin in the process, as Assassin was trying his best to be the mother of the team, taking care and trying to get the res in, but the nade was a massive denial coming in from TUF as well. But now things have came down to just Ozzy. Is Ozzy going to be committing the fight? I mean, if I was personally in Ozzy's shoes, I wouldn't really be committing to the fight because things aren't looking good for your team any longer, and I would rather take my chances and try and play that slow and that snaky game, as I would like to say, and just wait for the situations to pan in my favor and then wait for my moment to strike.
Well, Stranger, he's kind of in a precarious spot over here. He wants to engage against Aussie. Both these players, trying to have that higher ground for themselves, trying to spot out each other. But Stranger is taking damage from elsewhere, and Aussie is, of course, gonna knock him out of the equation over here. Extreme, of course, making that rotation, that flank. That certainly did help the cause of the players of High Voltage. But TUF, they're more like a full net squad. They are gonna push in together. You've got ESP right in front of Extreme. Of course, he's playing that TPP angle. He's playing that TPP game over here. But Extreme has just been a bit of a pickle, but it does somehow manage to take down a few shots onto its ESP and not really dealing that kind of a damage that you would have really anticipated.
Yep, and Extreme certainly coming back to help his teammate out as well. Ozzy was all alone, but then Extreme did manage to show himself up to help his teammate out. But somewhere down line, yep, the cover fire from Ozzy is coming in through. Now TUF are in a real uncomfortable situation as well, as they are only 3 men on a mission, and they are trying their best, keep themselves alive as well, and trying their best to not get any casualty done. But TUS somewhere down line, the execution is really poor coming in from these lads as well. ESP does realize that there is 1 man on the closed phases, and there's 1 man in the backlines as well. How is he going to be panning things out in his team's favor?
I mean, that's a tricky question, to be honest, because High Voltage, I mean, they do not really have the numbers in their favor. But ESP, well, he's got that angle going on. If he can lob down a few grenades here and there, I think that might suffice. And I think that really might just be a start. to, you know, try to wipe down the entire squad. Of course, they've gotten their 2 players, but Otzi from the far affray and clearly shows that he does not have enough bullets onto
Yeah.
his Mini 14, kind of shifts in onto his AMP and gets that one knock. Now, this is really good. This is really promising. This is what we wanted. Now, Extreme, he's trying to find his angle. He's trying to, you know, search for some player, trying to get away from his position, but look at Venom, you know, completely taking a hard shift, you know, spotting out, you know, over there. He did manage to spot out Otzi, did manage to get the final kill, and of course, we'll get that res onto his teammate, and we'll walk off inside the circle.
And yep, that's going to be the first elimination of the game coming in on the high voltage. And yeah, unfortunate turn of events for these lads, but I mean, yeah, we do know these guys have it in them. Maybe, you know, they're just testing out new strategies. That's the more kind of cover that we are going to be using for all these teams for now, at least. But no, yeah, of course, these lads are caught outside the zone, and somewhere down the line, we do know that they don't really have that good of a loot going inside as well. So they are going to be struggling on their med situations. They're trying their best to, you know, just bandage themselves off, as this is just the first circle. It's not going to be dishing out that much of damage. So bandage will be doing a lot of work for them as well. But now, another team inside the Hacienda del Patron, certainly proving that they are the kings as well. Blood Legions, I mean, I really want these guys to actually show me the recap of what they did in their region and just dominate this entire lobby as well. But as we did mention, you know, the little bit of roster change have came in through. We are not seeing Leo in action, and we're neither seeing Ryan in action as well. So that's going to be a more kind of like, you know, a step down over here.
I mean, that sort of breaks my heart because, you know, all these 4 players, you know, like a band of brothers, as I love to call them, the way they watch out for each other's backs, I mean, that's intense. I mean, that's exactly how you should be approaching a game. I mean, we've seen Blood Legion, those 23 kills, those 21 kills, chicken dinners, and it's not just a one-man show out there, of course. You know, Dark and Gyro and Dominic are those players who kind of get in there, get the majority of the kills. But again, it's not just about getting the kills. It's also about providing the support. It's about being an anchor for your team. So I really loved what Ryan and Leo used to put on the table, and being really out of the equation over here. I really need to get back into talking with these lads as to what they're really intending, because Ozark and Nuclear, I mean, of course, they're good players, they're good individual players, but right now, when you're entering into the Pro League, you need a whole team, you know, that's well prepared, and they're breaking down, you know, and not really trying out your other players who are already well settled in, kind of is a bummer for me, to be honest. But here we have the players of course Reborn, in fact Sketch, individually just backing off, realizing there's one squad in the fray. He's just a lonesome survivor, can't really take this fight, so bye-bye.
I mean, yeah, one thing we do know that Sketch is one of the star players going in for God's Reborn, and we did see this man in the regional stage as well, in the group stage as well, and in the regional final. How this man did actually pan things out, and barely God's Reborn did manage to, you know, clutch the situation out inside the top 3 phases as well. But for now, I'm going to hold on to my words because there's a massive fight breaking down between 2 legendary teams. It's going to be T2K and Venom Legends getting straight into a fight, and Venom Legends are separated away from so far, and from the back lines doing so much damage onto blah 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 is going to be falling back onto cover, as his teammates are trying his best to even provide that little bit of suppressing fire and cover fire. Just take a look at Frankie. This spot, Venom Legends doing those crucial rotations on the Nightwing, so he might be using his little bit of utilities going inside as well, but barely topping his boosters off and making sure he is looking healthy in this situation. That is going to be one case, as we need to watch out that you are always healthy inside a fight. You do not want to be, you know, down to low HP, certainly if you're going to be on the outside zone edges situation as well, because the zone is going to be chipping a lot of damage onto you, and then you will have to also take a little bit of bullets, you know, a little bit of return fire from the enemy team. So that's just going to be making things so much more tricky for you as well, as Venom Legends are showering down bullets onto T2K, and T2K somewhere down line, they are on those struggling phases.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but you know, taking a look at the roster, I'm really not worried about them because I know how explosive these players are. And now this question goes out to the chat. Who remembers that first game of last PMPL in which Jane did have that M249 in Erangel? I mean, he's given us memories and blah blah blah. Of course, I think coming in from Team Element metrics. But he's been taken down. But look at Rated just going ham after the players of Venom Legends. Rafet, of course, being that survivor along with a few of his teammates over there. But Rated really needs to watch his 9 because he's been spotted. He's been taken a lot of shots over here. They've already lost out on Nightwing. But Venom Legends, they do not look like they want to shy out. They want to take the fight. They want to go head on.
Exactly, and we do know what head-on means. Like, it's just a little bit of, you know, disrespect for the enemy team as well. Showing that you're not scared of them is going to be building up a little bit of rivalry between these two lads as well, as T2K is going to be closing out distance on Venom. And, yeah, Venom Legends are scared and certainly are going to be backing off in the fight as well, as all of the Venom players are down to such low HP as well, as T2K are also in the struggling phases. And Rafoot this time going to be pulling out a nade, and does know Freaky's right behind. Frankie's right behind. That's little Shaq going to be throwing the nade. Not able to catch anyone off guard, but that second nade from the other teammate is going to be doing so much damage onto Frankie. Another nade is going to get chucked, and yup, that is going to be more than enough to take down Frankie. And T2K are only down to a 2-man squad. Now it's going to be Jane from the back lines is also down on low HP, and then Rated Sir as well right next to him. But how long are these guys going to be able to hold off Venom Legends? Because Venom Legends are just picking their wings off one by one, and slowly and steadily they do seem like they are taking a massive fall.
I mean, right now, basically what Frankie did was take his own coffin over there. The moment he made that push, really, I mean, that was really uncalled for, because the kind of a spot his teammate was in, I mean, if you're talking about blah, 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 there was no chance on earth after Team Venom Legends had just pushed in to get that res back on, because they were not in a position. So that's a bit of slight miscommunication that we had, as a result of which, of course, Frankie did lose out on. But hey, this is the Scrims. This is where you try to take those risks, and really did not work out, because of course, you know, if you're going in for the revive onto his blah blah blah, he's certainly a player that kind of delivers. But elsewhere, we've got the boys from Freestyle trying to, you know, dish in quite some knocks in for themselves, trying to get in a few kills here and there.
Yup, and that is going to be happening. But for now, it seems like T2K are going to be backing off, as they're down to just a 2-man squad right now. So, yeah, they are going to be stepping their back foot a little bit, and they're just going to be playing that safe route this time. But it seems like they still haven't had enough. They're going to be dishing out a little bit of damage, but another fight is being erupted. It's going to be between INES and 1952 this time. INES, 3 men have already went down. 1952 completely beaming each and every single member of INES this time. Unfortunate turn of events for them, as we would like to call it, INES. Now, INES is down to just that one last man surviving, and how long is he going to be able to hold off? That's going to be a massive question that I am going to be wondering myself as well, because no. God's Reborn, just take a look at this. The flank has been coming through. The third party, as we would like to call it, God's Reborn, are closing their distance onto Entry. Entry is the only man in the nearby vicinity. The rest of his teammates are in the backline, so I really feel like Entry should back off, and exactly, Entry is going to be taking the same page as well. He's going to be doing the same thing as I asked him to do, and Entry is going to be backing off to his teammates, as Sharp has spotted the members of God's Reborn this time. And just take a look at Taufik's position. Are they going to be expecting Taufik over here, though?
You know, right now, both these teams need to focus in trying to get inside the better of a circle right now. They're both playing on the edges. Of course, God's Reborn have that high ground advantage for themselves. But if they don't close in, it's 952 who's going to get inside the zone faster. But there you have Magnet coming out of nowhere, getting that beautiful knock over here. But, you know, this leaves 952 with no choice. Right now, their primary focus should be in trying to get in. But they're looking hungry in for those kills. But look at Jane. He did manage to take out Hungry Box out of the equation. Now this is big. You've got the players of Freestyles over here. Tyrant just being blown away with that grenade coming in from Killer Whitey.
Yup, Killer Whitey, one of the man that is the most hungriest in the entire PN Crew squad, and certainly is proving me right, as well, as he's just showering down those barrages of nades and respect going down from the back line. It's just a beautiful rotation of flank angle formed by Legend, and he's going to be taking him down as well. But now just take a look at this. Futurestation are in massive water trouble, as they are getting capitalized from so many teams over here. It's going to be Freestyle, sorry. Freestyle are in a massive water trouble, as they're getting capitalized from all the angles by PN Crew. Now just take a look at this. Sundash is just going to be driving right onto him. He's trying his best, but no, they're going to get capitalized. These men are just so wild. PN Crew, what are you doing? You're just completely disrespecting these teams.
I mean, they are on wild, wild men on a goose hunt over there, and that is exactly what they did. Freestyle, their existence was just wiped out. You know, the kind of a push that PN Crew, did instill upon them. I mean, that was intense, and that was so interesting to watch. You know, that was a a planned push. Go in, beta yourself out with the vehicle, and you've got the remainder of the players chiming in along with you. Now, Venom Legends Rapid has, however, taken a dig onto his Legionnaire Sharp, just continues his spray onto its Ironic, and will,
Oh
of course,
no.
find that final kill and get the squad wipe. I mean, the boys from 1952, they certainly are putting up quite a show.
Yup, and now just take a look at this God's Reborn, and 1952 this time. Seems like the fight is going to be breaking it through. There are only 3 players of God's Reborn in the, close nearby vicinity as well, but Koa, as we would like to say, the surprising angle, more kind of like on the flank angle as well on this time, but now Entry is in that little bit of shack. Now he's trying his best to, get the overall information for his team because he's on the front lines as well, but Magnet from the back lines has spotted Koa. A little bit of skull is being exposed, but shots are being taken on the Koa as well, going to be dealing a little bit of damage, but more kind of shots are going to be on the suppressing side as well. And now this is exactly what I'm saying. His teammates are going to be stepping up from those front lines, are going to be doing a lot of damage as 1952s are going to be, exposing themselves while they're trying to deal a little bit of damage on the Koa. And exactly what I'm saying. This is where the team coordination shines in. The call was made. Okay, guys, I'm going to be rotating inside the circle. As soon as I rotate, these guys are going to be peeking outside and they're going to be trying to take me down. And exactly the cover fire, a beautiful cover fire coming in from God's Reborn side, and they completely managed to securely make the rotations from Koa complete secure for his teammate, and Koa came back to safety.
Yeah, he certainly did, but look at the zone right now, shifting towards the western side of water treatment. So many teams, they need to make it in, but Blood Legion, they've been somehow keeping themselves alive in those late circles. But look at PN Crew, now they've got the boys from R3D right in their radar. Any single moment, they can they can just go after them, and now really not taking the fight because they're kind of wary about the fact that they've got Blood Legion right on their tail. So Sandesh needs to be really picky with his fights. He sort of has spotted Anubis, not really taking the shot. Will want him to go out in the open, and this is the moment. Fury, there you go, not coming out. Wants to go in for the confirmation, goes a bit greedy, gets punished for that, and so does 1952's players. You've got Entry knocked out. It's Tawfiq trying to get those res on as TUF from the far off Ray trying to dish in all those damage.
And yup, God's Reborn are on the same page as well now. They are getting compromised from other angles, and they're getting third party from long distance as well. As we take a look at Ayush as well, making things so much more harder for Blood Legions to rotate inside. Now, we have seen R3D somewhere down line struggling, and yes, the knock is going to be coming through. And Ayush, of course, one of the laser beams that we did see this man just put in so much work inside the overall regional finals of PMCO for these lads. But now they are proving me right as well that Ayush is just an absolute alpha laser beam, not going to be missing any of those shots on the players of R3D. Now it's all down to Virus, Joker, and Nubis. Now, how long are these guys going to be able to hold off PN Crew? Because PN Crew do have that little bit of advantage going inside in the entire fight because they have that, high ground secured for themselves. And overall, the third person angle perspective is just going to be favoring them in the entire fight as well. As we take a look at Sandesh, is making sure that, okay, hopefully there is no one in the back lines. Yep, he's going to be checking those nades in as well. And those smoke grenades are coming in through just to provide that little vision assistance as he was going to be completely standing up from his position. And yes, it's going to be T2K from the back lines, but seems like PN Crew is just much more smarter enough, and they are going to be taking down this player from T2K. It's going to be Jane going down, and Sandesh getting compromised with those beautiful nade placements coming in from R3D. And this is exactly what we are saying. PN Crew is in a massive water trouble. They're getting compromised from even their back lines and even their front lines, and this is where Ayush decides to make rotations in, but he is getting compromised from another team that is trying to third party him.
Oh my goodness, I mean, this is pandemonium. We are talking about, ladies and gentlemen, as things have started to heat up. But look at PN Crew already sitting at 9 kills. Ayush, just the last player surviving. However, I'm really missing out on Afsik over here and Killer coming in and trying to fill in the boots. I mean, they're really large, but I'm pretty sure he will do by the, the start of the league. But now, as things are, taking a look over here, the teams, R3D, they need to get inside the zone. They've just got that one kill. That's all about it. But they've got the numbers backing them up. They've got those players still alive for them. And this might just be a bit of a troublesome situation, considering, you know, they kind of gave away their position. And with the winners of the first game, R3G, having already spotted them out, this might spell a lot of trouble.
Yup, that is going to be spelling a lot of trouble, but let me tell you what else can be doing a lot of trouble for these teams is going to be R3D will have to make the rotation all in the open ground to inside the circle, and we all do know when they are on those downhill stages where they need to go and cross a complete open field, I really feel like that's when things are going to get even more trickier for R3D. Yup, and that is going to be happening. Just take a look at Ayush doing so much damage, and yes, Anibus is going down this time, and he just doesn't have anything else to do because they do have to make the rotation inside, and we all do know what kind of zone damage will be dealing onto them, so they just do not want to take any of the chances, and they just want to make sure they are getting inside the circle as well. As we take a look now, just take a look at this. Of course, PN Crew getting completely wiped out, and Ayush was the last man standing for them. Now PN Crew, the lesson has been closed for them, the chapter has been closed. Now God's Reborn barely surviving. The last man is behind that little rock, and as well this car is going to be providing him a little bit of cover. But now we are seeing a complete new team rise up this time. It's going to be NFP. They have all their players alive, and I mean, NFP certainly not really able to show up since yesterday, but this time today it seems like NFP have stepped their gameplay up a notch, and this time it does seem like things are looking so good for NFP as they have the circle favoring them as well, and even the higher ground inside the circle, and I really feel like this might be NFP's game.
This certainly might be, because the kind of a zone that they have, they've got that higher ground like you mentioned, and it is, I mean, this is pretty much it, right? It's a 4v1v1 situation, kind of impossible, but you know, in rated, I believe if someone can really pull that one off, it's rated, of course. But then again, you've got you know, the entire odds in your favor. What do? He's kind of completely just restricted to that one tiny little shack, and then you've got Kalin Bhaiya from God's Reborn. Now this is another team that did show some amazing kills in the first game. Now coming in, they have done their survival run, and they've been trying to be alive for quite some time. They've got those position points. They're doing so very well in those top three, and you know, in the leaderboards. My apologies over there, but by the looks of it, you know, Team NFP, they're still, you know, not going overboard. They're still not going extravagant. You know, by this moment you should be realizing, yeah, this is our game, but they're not kind of trying to mess things up, because Kadir, all right, he kind of tries to go overboard, and yes, he's punished for that, and no, he gets traded off by Sky Ash. We just got that one player rated. Can he clutch it out? A 1v3 situation.
Already taken down two players of NFP. They're in a real massive amount of trouble as Rated Turf is making things so much more harder for them. NFP, you are on the struggling phases. You should not be doing this. The way you're executing this fight is complete wrong. As Rated Sir is going to be throwing those nades right behind that buggy, and I really feel like that nade is going to be doing so much. And of course, now it's a one-on-one situation coming inside. Deadshot has been cooking that nade up. Is that nade going to be completely landing inside the shack? Yes, it will. Rated Sir is in a massive amount of trouble as the nade did so much damage, barely taking him down, doing 80% of damage onto him. Now just take a look. This game was off NFP in the first place, and somehow they managed to screw it all up. Now Deadshot is going to be completely showering those nades onto his enemy teams. Another nade coming in from Rated Sir, certainly not going to be able to connect that nade, overcooking it way too much. And of course, Kira is going to get finished from the backlines as well, but now Rated Sir trying his best to rack up those kills that he have managed to secure. Going to be throwing that Molotov, making sure Dead Sir is going to get completely compromised by that Molotov, and his position might get forced out of that rock, but that shot doesn't really seem like anytime soon he is going to be backing out of that rock as well. Now it's just a stare-down competition going inside over here.
Yeah, of course. I mean, now it's going to be difficult for Rated as he has to get inside the zone. Now, this is where Deadshot might really come out and strike, but completely the momentum shifting in Rated Sir's favor. Could be anyone's game as Deadshot still peppering down those bullets, but Rated Sir, look at his movement. Look at him come in closer. Deadshot still spraying down, and that is Rated coming out with a beautiful clutch.
What did I just watch? They just completely clutched a 1-on-4 situation. Rated, you absolute animal.
I mean, right now, Necro, I told you, in Rated, I believe, and so does the entire nation of Nepal. I mean, if someone could do that, if someone could pull something like
Oh
that,
my god.
had to be rated. And you know, it was Team NFPxSky just throwing this game on multiple levels, to be honest. I mean, we have got to be blunt over here. This was completely their game. And you know, one bad move led to another, and it, you know, kind of continued on. And
Oh my god.
as a result of which, T2K, you know, you come in front of Rated Sir. If you try to, you know, try to do something really, you know, flashy, he's gonna punish you, and that's exactly what he did.
So the accuracy that this man showed when he actually did switch to his M4, when he did actually switch to his M4 at 6x, and then he just completely started mowing down those guys from the long range as well. And then when he switched to that M4 and that red dot, he completely just started mowing down those guys in the close ranges and managing to get a 1-on-4 situation clutch doing it inside of your favorite. That's just going to be such a massive, massive, massive advantage going inside for your team as well. Now, I am really impressed by Rated Sir over here. And you did actually predict this beforehand as well, that you did say, I do believe in the man called Rated Sir, and I'm gonna put my money on him that he is gonna be doing so much inside this. And of course he did. What a beautiful play coming in from this lad.
My, oh my, Necro. Gosh,
I
what
just
are we witnessing today? What are we witnessing? I mean, these guys are monsters, and I mean, it's such a proud moment for me, even as a caster, because
yeah.
you know, honestly, I have seen them grow. You know, of course, Rated Sir, I've seen him. It's been almost around like 1.5 or 2 years that he's been playing, and he's been always, you know, kind of ceased to surprise. Never has failed to cease to surprise me. To way he kind of delivers, and the way he kept his calm in those situations. Now, this is where experience comes in. This is where it all matters as to how you're gonna keep yourself hot in those situations. Now, T2K, they've been taking quite some fights. Now, this is a you know, part where the concept of hot hands comes in. You've been taking a lot of fights. You've got yourself in the rhythm. You've got yourself in the groove. Whereas NFPxSky, they've been playing the zone. They've not been engaging in any fight. They've been
Yeah.
trying to avoid them for as long as they can, and they kind of were scared trying to get in. And he was just that one man, and he just mowed them all down, one after the other. All they had to do
Yeah.
was push together, for Christ's sake, and they failed at that. But you know, this is still again a learning lesson for them. But as we take a look at the match rankings and see how Team T2K, or in fact, how much points have T2K gathered for themselves, and it's 22.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surely gonna say like I really need a massive breather after that game. Like, oh my god, what did I just witness? The level of skill I am witnessing inside this entire competition is just so it's just so relentless. Like these lads are just so good. These lads are too good at what they're doing, and now I really want to see how these guys are going to be completely performing in those upcoming matches as well, because the overall way these lads are just showing the gameplay, I mean, I am just completely speechless. And now focusing on to the squad of NFP, somewhere down the line, we do know that they have made some rookie mistakes going inside here as well. And that push completely, like the way they actually tried to rotate inside the zone was just so, like, I don't know. It didn't really seem like they actually planned anything there.
I mean, yeah, it was basically they were just hovering over. They kind of pretty much knew that, yeah, this game is going to be ours. And by the moment, it all came down to that 1v1 situation. But overall, this was again another beautiful map of Miramar. So much action happening out left, right, and center. You know, so many teams just going after each other. We've seen a few teams, you know, taking that plunge. We've seen those old guards defending their titles, you know, of being the best in the region. And you know, the battle has been going forth, but still right now in terms of overall standings, I believe, you know, the Pakistani teams do have an edge over the Nepali and the Bangladesh region
Yeah.
over here. But you know, this particular match might just be the start of things changing. And as we take a look at the kill leaders, we are definitely going to see who are those top kill mongers in the lobby, and has to be Sky Ash. So he's got 6 kills for himself, and now
Mhm.
Rated comes in, has got those 4 kills to back himself up. And Team TUF, they've been playing on the sidelines, but did manage to rack up quite some kills.
And yep, I mean, and those 4 kills that Radicer got were all taken onto the players of NFP, like 1-on-4 situation dealt by that man. And then, of course, as you said, 2F aren't really like, didn't really show much, but still like a little bit of, passive performance in the overall scrims shown by these lads as well. And then T2K Jane, of course, the man, how can we forget this lad?
I mean, give this man an M249 and he is gonna take the whole world down. This is all I have to say for what we have witnessed from him in the past. He is that prolific assaulter. And
Yeah.
it's just a start. I mean, I was talking to my Nepali brethren, Ansh, and he did tell me about this particular roster. With Rated coming in, with blah 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 coming in. You've got the likes of Chain, you've got Frankie. I mean, this is one of those teams that
Yeah.
can actually, win the PMPL this time, provided, of course, they've got that synergy intact. Because in terms of skills, in terms of their prowess with their weapons, their movements, they're all on point. But you need that strategy to be really working out in your favor. But now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the overall rankings and see how this game of Miramar has turned the tables.
And yup, as we take a look at the overall ranking, of course, it's going to be a 4 on the top, completely, solidifying their spot, freezing their spot on the top with 67, but Futurestation not really far behind with 62. I mean, certainly, yeah, they're really close. And then T2K getting that spot stolen from Stalwart. And Stalwart, I mean, today wasn't really their day, weren't really able to
Yeah.
show off much, but, and T2K just overall, what a clutch. I mean, I'm pretty sure this clutch will be remembered by a lot of people and in the overall future days as well, because this clutch was just so detrimental to the entire squad of the enemy team as well. But for now, I really want to give props to P and crew as well, because just the overall competition that they have built up and just the overall capitalization on the situation, they actually did manage to capitalize on what kind of mistakes they made yesterday, and then today they actually just completely filled up those blank spots that were coming from these lads. And today they actually showed a real good performance.
Yeah, that they did. But however, kind of moving down to the bottom echelon of things. So you've got LoG1 really, having those position points, but the kills department is certainly where they can really improvise on. But look at Carnage. It's a completely different Carnage that we're witnessing. They've got those
Yeah.
kills every single game, but look at the position points, just barely 4.
Yeah.
So kind of not really making it into the top 8 every single game. So now they've learned their lesson. After this we'll be, of course, going in for quite a long break before we come in. But this gives them enough room and
Yeah.
time to prepare on their positioning to find their footing inside the games. Now, it's not every day you wake up in the right side of the bed, and that's exactly what has happened. But as you go down under, Freestyle, Venom Legends, Inertia Esports,
Yep.
what on earth is wrong with them?
I mean, I certainly don't know. Only those player can explain us. Maybe, as I'm gonna say it again, maybe they're just trying out new strategies as well. But freestyle on the complete bottom line, that's certainly not acceptable. I mean, if we ask anyone over here, it's certainly not acceptable, because if they're going to be on the complete bottom lines as well. But now, as you said, Carnage, we are seeing some complete different Carnage as we did see in those region finals as well. And this is exactly what I was telling you before as well. Like, Carnage are not really able to show themselves up inside any of these games. And
Yeah.
I mean, and they even haven't went through any of those roster changes as well. So, I mean, I don't really feel like what's lacking in the Carnage. Maybe they're just testing out new strats, and maybe just a new way of playstyle they're testing out. We don't really know.
I mean, I sort of agree with you on this one because, yes, Carnage, I think considering how they're really playing, I guess they're kind of trying to see how good they are in terms of getting those kills. Because I know, I mean, this is a squad that can get those position points rolling in for themselves. Because, the kind of lead that they had developed for them in the finals, I mean, that was massive. That was preposterous, to be honest. And I thought they would be just carrying it forward. But now, I guess they're kind of testing out the other teams. And it's for everybody. It's for everybody out over here. Because what we are really witnessing is not those hardcore tactical game coming in, but some really, those plays where you kind of tend to go for the kills, try to work on your positioning with the fights, and things have started going to get really more intense. But now, ladies and gentlemen, with this, we are finally done with all the matches for the evening. Hope you really enjoyed it. We'll be back soon. Till then, take care and have a good time.
Let's get it.